Oh, I think it's definitely challenges. You're 2 time zones away, way longer flight. This actually, I don't know if anybody on our team's ever played in these arenas, so I think there's a lot of new challenges.
You can put a couple home matches in LA at least?
Who knows? Of course, there'll be a lot of Husker fans, but I'm guessing it's a lot of just volleyball general fans too that aren't necessarily diehard. So that's always a good thing, though, too.
What do you know about each team individually and how they play?
They're both really good. So UCLA, they have been up and down, but they have the players, that individuals that could start on a lot of teams. But they do play a lot of different players, and I think USC is rolling, and they're young but super talented, and they're playing great as well. I feel like this time of the year there's teams getting better and teams that are pretty stagnant, and I feel like both these teams are getting better and playing well right now.
Should I see PK back in?
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know if she's played too many back-to-back games, so we'll see, but I did see she was in their last one, so that was awesome.
Why was this one of the road trips you were looking forward to?
But I think I've never played at either of these places indoor, just done beach at USC, and seeing it's this time of year, well, it's supposed to be great weather here this weekend, of course, but you're expecting colder weather in California to be nice. And so I think getting out of town to a nice climate is always good in the middle of the season, too. And we'll get to do some extra things. We're leaving a day early, and that ended up being a great call because of flights and the government shutdown. So we shouldn't have any issues. But, we'll get to do some stuff on Thursday and then the day off in between. Won't just be sitting in our hotels. Yes.
What do you think have been the biggest reasons that the middle offense has been as good as it has been this year?
The biggest reasons, just I think the individual improvement of all 3 of them, and you can include Menai in that, and Bergen, and I think Campbell has helped Bergen to take more risks. I think the middles are just more confident. I think Bergen's playing great, so it's just the combination of all that. I just think she's a risky setter, and that's a good thing. And in practice, when you see somebody else doing it, you tend to want to simulate it. So I think it's just made Bergen confident to do the same.
Early in the year, Andi came in here and she wasn't hitting her best percentage. She's like, "I'm not worried. I know it will turn out okay." Last week she basically hit perfectly, or not basically, she did. What have you seen from her as a coach that helped her stay confident to be successful?
She just comes in every day with, the same attitude, and she wants to continue to get better. And for her, those, that's a little bit each day. She's not going to see this huge amounts of growth. So being able to be okay with that and recognize the little bit of growth, eventually that's going to pay off. I think sometimes you want to see these massive improvements and jumps. So that just doesn't happen to somebody that's already really polished. So a little bit better, and then I just think her communication and relationship with our both setters has been just awesome. All the middles and the setters have great relationships, so I think that's really paid off.
Bergen's the only setter on the ABCA semifinalist for Player of the Year. Just a team loaded with talent. How have you really seen her make the case for being one of the more important players on this Nebraska team?
Just her making the case would just be the consistency, and you haven't seen any dips in our offense. And besides just her setting, she's always in the top, leading the team in digs, and she's blocking great. She's one of our better servers, so I just think that being the complete player is something that's really important to our team, and people notice on a national level.
Before conference season started, you identified out-of-system setting as one of the areas you can improve. I imagine if you're hitting 400, out-of-system setting is improved. I mean, how have you seen you take a step forward in that area?
Just we're not making as many errors. I also think our attackers are doing a great job of recycle plays, and they're keeping the ball in play when they can't take a swing, and when they do have a great set, they rip it. So I just think they're making great decisions, and then our setting's gotten better too, and that it's practice and kind of figuring out what each player wants. If there is any difference, sometimes there's not, but I also think being able to set Virginia out of system has been just huge for the efficiency. She's pretty good out of system, and it's just nice to be able to mix that up.
In Virginia, different look. The play where you run her up the middle, it really is one of the more effective plays. What is she able to do from a middle attack as opposed to
Yeah, I think it just, you have Becca who's hitting over 400 on the slide, and you have Taylor who's hitting, 380 on the go. So, you can't triple block that. You got to make a decision. So I think that's why she's pretty effective, because she typically has a split or one up, and then you have a lot of court to use.
On the defensive side, we talked about the libero position can be fluid. It seems like Laney has taken over the jersey bit the past couple weeks, and culminated in her being defensive player of the week this week. What have you seen from her that she's grown forward this year?
Well, I wasn't here last year, so, but from the beginning of the year, it's just, I think Laney wants to win. She's an ultimate competitor. I think she was what I know she was like that the last 2 years, so I don't know if that's grown or changed. But she's just a great competitor and winner. She's a great communicator out there. She wants to take charge. So all those things go into being a great libero.
So let me clarify, and I apologize. Well, how has she grown under you from the beginning of the season?
Yeah, that's just kind of what I answered, yeah. So.
Dani, your Brittany Falcons won their fourth state championship on Saturday, first since 2014. Did you able to reach out to some people, see some of the highlights? Just how special was that for, it's just coincidental that your first year back here in Nebraska.
Yeah, it was a very cool coincidence. I don't have a lot of ties to the volleyball team anymore there. I've got some nieces that'll play volleyball here in about 10 years, so then I will. But it was just awesome to see them win, and I know they were a little bit of an underdog, so that's even more special. And I think it's just cool for a small town, like Freeman, to be able to do so well in all their sports, not just volleyball, but they're kind of a powerhouse in all sports in C2. So it's awesome. Pretty cool that it was I didn't even think about that, but I saw Kevin Suits had tweeted. What a coincidence. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, and even if you don't maybe have a direct impact, just how special is it for you to be kind of an influential figure to some of those girls on that team?
Yeah, for sure. Never take that for granted, or forget where you came from and people that helped you grow up and had a lot to do with your success growing up. So it's pretty cool. I think it's even better that they were an underdog and they won it. It feels like the state tournament had a lot of underdogs that were winning and knocking teams off, so I haven't seen that much in Nebraska, or where I was just in Louisville and Kentucky. It was always the same teams winning it. And back when I was here, felt like the same teams winning every year. And this year was a whole group of new teams, so that was pretty awesome.
Final questions?
Treya posted some really big passing numbers last week, the best in the country for an outside. How have you seen her grow as a passer since she got here?
Just the same stuff with everybody. I think the more you play, the more confident you get, and that is how Treya has gotten more and more confident. I think she knows teams are going to go after her because she's a freshman, so being able to deliver and, stay strong mentally, and when you make a mistake, just not being able – she does a great job of not compacting mistakes. It's one, and then the next pass will be great. So I think then teams start to get off her. So she's just done a great job of working through – the mental part of volleyball where you're not going to play perfect. And that's paying off for her, too. It's huge when she can post numbers like that.
All right, thank you.